The DJI Mavic Pro has finally turned up. Now, I ordered this when it was announced in September. It's now nearly December and it's only just turned up. So I don't think DJI anticipated how many orders they would get of this thing. The thing is though, it's absolutely amazing what they have managed to achieve with this. I mean, this box is just so tiny, it's hard to show on the camera, but that is the appeal with this one, how small it is, how compact it is. You can put it in the tiniest of bags and just take it anywhere with you. Anyway, I haven't actually opened this one yet, so let's get it open. So this is the box that it comes in. I wasn't quite sure what it was at first, it's so small. Usual DJI packaging, except this box is on a slant here, unlike the Phantom 4. So it's sealed. Let's get it open and see what you get inside. Let's see how we open this thing. So it just lifts up. Wow, look at that. I can't believe how small this thing is, and the package is just so tiny. So just take it out carefully here. Oh, it is so small. And then we have the controller, also so small. Now, one thing that I was worried about the Mavic was these gimbals here. I was worried that they were going to use the Xbox style parts, and it looks like, to me, they are proper gimbals. So hopefully we will get some good resolution out of that. So that's the first thing I was worried about, and that's not too bad there. So let's see what else you get. So this other sort of package here, it's a bit weird. So we have got, looks like a charger, and this is a USB mini B lead. And what else have we got? This looks like a lead for an Android phone. So this was another thing I was worried about. This connector here that connects to your mobile device. It looked like it only came with a Apple one, so I have to see if that fits for my Android. And then what have we got under here? Some more packaging covers. Looks like some leaflets here. Yeah, that looks like the instruction manual. So just move that off to one side. And then this looks like to be the charger. Yep, so the charger. Not a lot in this package. Oh, we have something under here. What is this? These must be spare blades. Not spare blades, the actual blades. Doesn't look like the blades are on here. So, got this one here. And then this one here. So, this just one set of blades by the looks of it. This isn't like any deluxe version that I have bought here. So just one set of propellers. I would have liked to have seen a spare set. Maybe there is a spare set, I don't know. Let's see what else that we've got. I don't think so. I think that's your lot. Oh, so we have got two cables here. So it looks like one is the iPhone connector, maybe, and the other is for Android, so that is really good at least. Anything else in here? Don't think so. So that is your lot. So those two connectors there, they are actually a USB 2 mini connector and a USB-C, so that is good because my new Pixel phone uses the C connector, and then in the controller here it's actually the iPhone one already connected. They also come with these little adapters here as well. I guess that's to stop it going any further through there, so I'll have to switch that out. Now, problem number one that I haven't seen anybody talk about yet is that you can't adjust for the thickness of your mobile device. So I have got my Google Pixel XL with a case on it. Will not go in this gap very well. Just about goes, but not too well. So yes, it would have been nice if we could have found a way to adjust this a little bit better, but it looks like it does go in. I'm going to have to switch the connector out. Right, so let's take a look at the quadcopter itself. So these arms fold out here. Oh, and the back arms, they fold underneath. And there's propellers on the back. Now that's interesting. So we do have a spare set of propellers. For some reason they have not included the propellers on here. I wonder if mine are missing. I don't know. It's very odd that those aren't on there. Then we have this cover over the gimbal. Oh, and that's completely come off there. So a cover on top of a cover. Now, some people are saying that you don't need this. Some people are saying you should have it on. I don't know. Look at this thing. This is the star of the show. This gimbal is so tiny. That's my thumb. I cannot believe how small this gimbal is, and that is the reason I have got this thing. You see, a couple of years ago, before any of this existed, I took a Flying 3D X6, which was a quadcopter about this size, and I had a dream that I was going to make a tiny gimbal and put a 808/16 camera on it, and that would have ended up being bigger than this. And it was not successful, and I'll tell you for why. You see, after a lot of messing about and research, it just wouldn't work. The camera was too lightweight for the gimbal to have any effect. No matter what PID I use, the camera would always wobble, and I don't know how they have done this. And this is exactly the reason why I have got it, because I am intrigued. I cannot believe how small that camera is. It is so tiny. And the gimbal in general as well, looks like it's got a lock on it there at the back. Oh my goodness, that is so small. It looks so delicate though as well. That is so tiny. And then we've got some notice up here. Turn on and off the power. Just tells you how to do that. So we've got a sticker on here. And did I notice a sticker around here also? I thought I saw another sticker somewhere, but it seems not. Oh yeah, here we go. There's stickers here. Just tells you how to unfold the arms there. So I need to charge the battery. So this is the battery here. So we've got these two clips here. Nice battery. I do have a spare one coming on the way. It's going to be your usual. Press the button there to see how much battery that you've got. And then this is going to plug into the charger that is included with it. So fairly simple there. I'm going to have to keep this safe. This gimbal looks like it's going to break. I like how you've got this with it though. I'll have to make sure that it goes on properly. It just sits on the back there, does it? So back to the transmitter, and my phone does just about fit into it with a case. And then we have got a clip at the top here that unclips those two antennas like that. Now this is something that I struggled with. Now this little bracket here, it popped out on my one, but it does press in. You've got sort of two ledges here, and then it presses in. This is the USB-C. And you can see there, this slides along there. In this bottom position, my Google Pixel phone just about fits in with its case. One thing I don't really like though is that this moves here, and you see you can pull out the USB cable, so I'm not sure how secure that's going to be, but I guess with all the return home features and stuff, if you disconnect from your phone it'll still fly, but I'm not sure about that. I have to take another look at that. Let's see if I can take another look at this gimbal. This looks fiddly. There's like, I can see two slots there. Oh, and there we go. Not too bad. That ribbon is so tiny. I don't like that. I can see that breaking. That's nicely in place now. And I guess this just... How well does this thing clip on? It's quite loose, this thing. And I imagine there's going to be some reflections with this. So I think I'm going to be flying without it. So it looks like the propellers work the same as the Phantom 4. They just push down and twist. and we have got black tops and then black tops with a white circle around it, so they will only go on the right arm. Not sure why they didn't put these front two on a stand unless I'm missing two. Seems strange to just have one spare set and not four, you know, or two spare sets should I say. So the quadcopter is small, but when you fold it out it's actually not that small. Here is my 230 size quad to compare it to. This is the Impulse Alien frame, and you can see there, not actually that small, it just folds up to being small. So let's have a look what else we have got on the quadcopter while the battery charges. So we've got this slot under here. Now this doesn't come out very easily, but you just use your nail there, and that is a USB mini B connector there. I can see this coming off here and being lost. Then on this side we have got a bigger one. I'm gonna lose my nails here. Now this is interesting. We have got a micro SD card. It is the same SD card that came with the Phantom 4, so 16 gigabyte. Say Panasonic card, and that just slots in there. Now this is interesting. We have got some kind of button there, or is it a light? I think it might be a light, yes. Then we have got this slider here that says RC and then Wi-Fi. So I just wonder if that is for if you want to transfer the files from the SD card over Wi-Fi, maybe. Interesting. And then that's your RC link. Let's get into the things that you can't usually see. Look at that, we have got some, looks like braided wire there, and that is flexing. Hopefully that will not cause a fracture eventually. So that's just on the folding arms there. So compared to the quality of the Phantom 4, it definitely doesn't seem as premium just because we have this matte plastic. It's not terrible, it doesn't come across as toy grade whatsoever, but Phantom 4, I just like the glossy shiny finish on it compared to this Mavic here. And I would dare say that the Phantom 4 isn't actually that much bigger than this, except this folds down into the smallest package, and that is its selling point, I guess. Back to the controller, and I need to charge it. Now the way that you charge this is interesting. It's not by this USB port underneath. In fact, this is for connecting to another device, perhaps if this connector here doesn't reach, or you can connect this up to your device and then charge the transmitter at the same time, I guess. So you take this cable out here, and this is interesting because this connector here is square, so it doesn't look like a USB Mini 2 lead, and this is also square, so quite confusing, and there's not much documentation on this in the manual. But you get given this Mini B lead here, and then that does just slot into there. Quite confusing to make sure that you get it the right way. And there you go, and then that other end plugs into the included charger, so there's two outlets on there, and then that plugs in there. You can charge both the flight battery and the transmitter at the same time, but it's going to take longer for both of them to charge. So just stick that back in there. Of course we have the antennas like I mentioned earlier, those just stick out. Now this is interesting. Here we have the power button, but if you short press it, it tells you the battery percentage of the transmitter, which is new. Then to turn it on, it's a double press and then hold, and then it will try and connect to the quadcopter. So we have got the return home button on the other side here. We have a pause button here, so that's going to just pause whatever maneuver the quadcopter's doing. It'll just hover. This here is like another mini joystick. They call it the 5D button. Also presses down as well. And you can assign functions to it, just like you can assign functions to these two buttons here. I usually have my battery telemetry, and then this one points the camera straight down quickly. So we also have a video record button here. You have your slider here for the pitch of the gimbal, and then this one is a clicky one, and you can change the exposure with that. Then you've got the camera button here as well. Sport mode on the side too, on a little slider, so you can get a faster flying quadcopter if you want that. We also have like lots of protectors on there. I need to remove that as well, but what I need to do is charge this so that I can go for a flight. Right, so both batteries are charged. Let's see how long it takes to set up. So let's turn the controller on first. It says connecting. Double press on the quadcopter. We have the lights turning on and the gimbal sort of freaking out a bit. What's it doing? Is it like calibrating or something? Yeah, it looked like it was calibrating. Did you see all that? Not seen that before. So it's trying to open up the DJI Go app already on the phone here. Might have to adjust the exposure of the camera here. Inconsistent firmware found. Aircraft firmware and firmware of the peripheral device do not match. This may cause compatibility issues. Update the firmware to resolve. Slide to update. Here we go. Okay, we've got various things that we need to agree to here. Activating the Mavic. Turn off the protection. Oh, something just buzzed here. Check app system warning. All sorts of things happening here. Name your aircraft. This is important. Name it Mavic, because you can't change this once you have put it in. So if you want to resell it, don't call it your dog's name or something, because you can't change it. Done. And then continue. So this is good because I fly mode 1, so I'm going to change that. Switching control mode to mode 1. Confirm. And then continue. So it's letting you change these buttons here, C1 and C2. It's set to center focus as standard. So now it says it's updated here 100%. Now it's rebooting. It's asking me to agree terms and conditions again. It's asking me to activate it again? What? Why has it done that again? Mavic. This is one thing I didn't like with the P4, is all this messing about. Continue. Yes, mode 1, I've already been through this. Continue. Yes, I'm going to leave these as defaults for now. Yes, that's fine. Leave it as metric. Beginner mode. No, turn beginner mode off. Not a beginner. Continue. Confirm your activated account. Sign in or register. Oh no. Well, I do have an account, so I'll have to put that in. Okay, so activate. Activation successful. Help DJI improve its products. No thank you. Update firmware. DJI Go has stopped working. Oh, fantastic. Updates required. Aircraft requires update. See firmware upgrade tutorial. Ugh. Okay, looks like we're getting somewhere. It says ready to go. So it seems like what's happening? Ready to go. Seems like I have to update the firmware of the aircraft separately, maybe. I don't know. Firmware available. Update now. Yes, please. Downloading. Oh, this is confusing. I wish it would just do it, you know? It said I need to upgrade the firmware. Should be able to click it and it upgrades. No, you have to click back and then download the firmware, and then it says here it's going to take 15 minutes. Ensure aircraft battery is more than 50% and the aircraft is connected to the remote controller before upgrading. It takes approximately 15 minutes. Do not power off. Ugh. It's downloading really fast there. Not. You can hear a fan going here on the quadcopter, same as the P4. It's cooling the processor inside. One thing I didn't mention is we have these two cameras at the front here, and I'm not going to touch it because it's doing its thing, but you also have one underneath, and also you have like sonar underneath as well. Got some lights flashing on the back to say that it's updating. I really don't like this part. I guess a lot of people are upgrading their Mavic today. Been waiting about 15 minutes and it's only downloaded 20% off 114 megabytes. Okay, it's downloaded and now it is saying it's updating. So see how long this takes. So this does seem to be updating the aircraft over its controller rather than having to plug it into that USB port in the side. So far that's what I'm getting, because I'm seeing the gimbal move about as it's saying that it's updating on here. That is better than the Phantom 4 where you had to plug it in on the side. You're looking at about half an hour for that to finish messing about. Restart your device. So I guess they mean the Mavic and not this, right? Okay, let's connect to it. Latest firmware. Radio channel quality poor. Now it's gone to good. And we are in picture mode here, so I'm going to want to change that to video mode. Looks like the app has changed a little bit since I last looked at it. So there's video mode there. And we have, of course, the tap to focus. Okay, what I want to do is change the video settings. Go into settings there, go into video, and I want to change it to 1080p 60. 1080p, and then we've got 50 frames per second. No, 1080p 60. Is that because this is a European model? So you can see here we have the option to change from PAL to NTSC. Switching between NTSC will restart the camera. Fine by me. Go back. And now if we go into here we should have 1080p 60. There we go. That's what I want. Let's go back there. So we've got white balance set to auto. Got no grading or anything like that. It's just all set to none. Change the video format there if we want. Lots of different options. And if we go up to here, a couple of things that we are going to need to change. So here we can put Expo in if we want. There's so many settings here. Okay, so need to turn on obstacle avoidance. I had to do that. And didn't change anything here, but you can set up your various different buttons here. You can have the FPV changed to 1080p if you want, but I'm going to keep it at 720p so that we've got a clear feed. I've changed the discharge of the battery to 4 days. And this is sort of advanced camera settings here. And if we've got anything else down there, you can just change the units there. Show the fly route. There's so many settings here. But what I want to do is go and fly. So let's go and do that. Okay, so let's try and give this thing a fly. The first thing I'm going to do is calibrate the compass. So when it boots up, go into details here, and then down here, and then calibrate compass. And then it's instructed me to rotate the quadcopter clockwise like this. Looks like it's turned the gimbal off too. So that way, and then around this way. And there we go. So I'm going to try find a bit on the ground now where the gimbal isn't going to sit in the grass. There we go. And it says on here, ready to go. So what I'm going to do is go onto the video settings here. And let's see what we have. So it's at 1080p 30 at the moment. So I made a video a few days ago when I first flew this, and I flew it with 1080p 60, and as you may know, I wasn't happy with it. It doesn't perform well 1080p 60 at all. So I'm going to start off in 1080p 30 and see how I get on with that. So the next important thing, tap to focus. A lot of reviewers, when they first got this, they were so excited to try it, they didn't realize that it has got a focus on it. So you need to tap to infinity to get it to focus. Otherwise, if you leave it where it is, it's probably going to focus on something close up. In fact, the grass is just too close here, it won't focus on any of it, but you can hear there that it's beeping every time it focuses. There we go. So I want to tap at something in the distance, and I'm going to tap again when I take off. I'm not sure on this feature because it's very rare that I need to focus on something close with a quadcopter, but there you go. So how many satellites have I got? Let's have a look here. So I've got 14 satellites, that should be enough. Let's go for a takeoff. Now, another problem with this is the back end doesn't actually have any stands, it sort of just rests on the motors. So I imagine these props could get stuck in the grass. Let's try. Yeah, they are doing so. I lifted it off the ground as quick as possible. Now I did bash this quadcopter a lot for the 60 frames per second issue, but just look at this thing. Have you ever seen anything so rock solid? It's incredible. And so we have these sensors here underneath working. We have got cameras at the front as well, and all of that is locking it into the ground absolutely perfectly. It's amazing. Let's go and do some flying with it. It's a very dull day here today, and this landscape around here is not flat, so it could give the impression that the gimbal isn't level, but you'll see as I pan around, the horizon's all over the place, and that is the contours of the land. The gimbal on this one, pretty rock solid. So let's get a bit of height on here. It is such a dreary day. So this is the flat color that I'm recording in at the moment. There's one thing that I found with the stock settings is that the color is a bit too vibrant for me. So I've turned it to a flat color. And just looking at the screen here at 1080p 30, it looks amazing on the screen. And one thing that I notice is that the field of view is not as wide as the Phantom 4, and that does create some issues when flying around to try and see how close you are to things. Makes it more difficult, but it's not too bad. Of course, we're relying on the GPS a lot here for that. What they have done with this gimbal is amazing. I don't know how they have done it. So I'm at 41 meters there, not taking it up too high. Let's point at the estate here so we've got something nice and shot. And then what I want to do is stop the video and let's play around with the color. So if I go onto the settings here, see I'm on D-Log there. So if I change it to none and then start recording again, you'll see all of a sudden that the color has changed, and you can see how that tap to focus works as well. So if I just press on the screen there, it focuses, and then it beeps to say that it has focused. Now this color does look better, however I find it a little bit too vibrant sometimes. The green is really green, more green than I can see with my eyes, and I usually prefer a flatter color like the Phantom 4 gives. So I'll probably be flying in D-Log the majority of the time, but it's not bad. Okay, so what I want to do now is switch it to 1080p 60 very quickly, just to show you the difference. See, the bits that it struggled with is things like on the roof of houses and fences, you get an aliasing issue. So now if I stop this recording here and then go into the settings again, if I go onto the format and change it to 1080p 60, I believe the camera has to reset, and it did do very quickly. And now let's start recording and tap to focus again, and then if I move down, the picture on the phone looks the same pretty much. If you look really closely, there's some issues. You can't see it so well on YouTube. When you look at the trees here, they look like they're moving, but they're not. And it's something I was really disappointed with, because that is a deal breaker for me. But you can see here, the Mavic performs just as good as the Phantom when it comes to flying. Doesn't like these bits of these trees here. Okay, hopefully that's enough of that. Okay, let's stop that recording and go back into 1080p 30. So if I go into the settings here, click that, and then 1080p 30. By the way, it does that aliasing thing in 48 frames per second as well, and 96 frames per second. So it's a problem that it's got with the frame rate. You just can't cope with it. Now there probably is something that they can do to make it not so bad. They have full control of this when it comes to the firmware, but I'm not so sure. Okay, something that I want to try out, because it's a feature that I use quite often on the Phantom, is these automatic modes. I often use them with the Phantom. So we have all of these different automatic modes. Gesture mode, I think it's a new one. I'm not too sure about that. I want to try out active track. So it's going to tell me here the aircraft will move along and always keep a certain distance with the target after tracking. Obstacle avoidance cannot work when you manually control the aircraft to circle target. Okay, press OK there. It says here, the following tutorial will walk you through the new Phantom 4 features. No, I don't want that. Exit tutorial. Later, please. So let's point the gimbal down here at me. and then I should be able to draw a box around me like that, and then press OK. Try that again, didn't seem to like that. There we go. And then you press OK once it's found you, and then the thing will start following you. And then we have a new feature, we can actually get it to circle, I believe, as well. Cannot track subject, so it's not working there. Accidentally pressed return to home there. These buttons are very close together. Okay. So now it's going to circle me. This is a new feature. That's brilliant. So not only is it tracking me, it's circling around me too. That's brilliant. Ah, if only they had a decent 60 frames per second, this thing would be the best drone that there is, in my opinion. Okay, let's stop that. Actually, I'm going to keep it going, because you don't really need point of interest now that we have this. I guess unless your object is moving erratically. Well, that is brilliant, that is. So I guess we can move it backwards too. Move it further away. Can we lift up the gimbal? We can. Look at that. One thing that I found with the Phantom is this circling thing would often upset the gimbal when it was finished. So let's stop it and let's see. It's perfect, it's fine. So I was going to check out point of interest next, but that mode has made it a bit pointless, I guess, because it also tracks the object as well as circling it. I guess point of interest doesn't lock onto something, so you could use it for that. So if I go into that again, and if I move over here and go on to point of interest, so it says here, fly the aircraft above the point of interest and set the position as point of interest. Oh, looks like the DJI Go app has closed. Excellent. That is a problem with the DJI app on Android. It does do that. I wonder what it's going to have done with the video file. No, I don't have an Inspire 2. Why has it gone to the store? This is no good whilst I'm flying. Camera. Looks like it's still recording on the video, so even when the app crashed, let's just stop that a minute and have it going again. So what was I doing? Point of interest. Let me see if it's going to let me do it. Let's go over point of interest, fly over the object, which is me, point down. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, won't the gimbal... Oh, that is fully down, I guess. What is the gimbal doing there? Doesn't like pointing straight down. Is that the issue? Let's try that again. I don't know what that was about. Look at that. Jerking. Does not like pointing straight down. Apply. Then what's it saying here? So now it's in... It stopped working again. Open up app again. The app is crashing. says it's still recording. Does not seem to like these automatic modes. Let's see if I can actually get this working without it crashing. Let's have a look here. So, point of interest, apply, and then move backwards. And then it's in the red until, there we go. And let's press start. And okay. So now, should be able to circle that point of interest, and it is doing, and it hasn't crashed so far. And we can move the gimbal up and we can change the speed here. There we go. So that works too, but the app kept crashing. Look how quick this thing circles. You can change the direction and the speed as well, of course. So if we move this over here, it'll start going the other way, and you can change how far back it is from you, etc. Nice to have a slower speed, and you can lift the gimbal up too. That function's the same. Okay, let's pause that and close it. I'm still recording that. And that's pretty much all I want to cover. It's still in this this mode here. I need to go back to normal. Let me go back to normal mode, please. There we go. Actually, it's not quite covered everything. I haven't covered sport mode. Let's go into sport mode. Now, because something that I discovered in sport mode is that you can upset the gimbal doing it. So if you do fast movements, like jerks, you can upset the gimbal, but you see that? But it's pretty amazing though. And this thing is so fast. One good thing about the sport mode is you shouldn't be getting the propellers in shot. So I got low battery warning there. So I think it's time to land. See if I can find a spot of grass. Now, something that's interesting about this one when it lands is it gets to a certain height and then it lands itself. I think that's a setting that I have chosen though. So I'm going to bring it down. And you see there, it won't come down any further. The props hitting the grass, and the props have stopped very quickly, and so it must have some kind of ESC braking on it as well. Well, there you go. That is my review of the Mavic Pro. As I say, disappointed with the 60 frames per second performance, but everything else is fantastic. You can upset the gimbal with fast movement, so the gimbal not quite as good as the Phantom 4, but I didn't expect it to be. So as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.